Hi everyone, thank you so much for clicking today's video. So let's get straight into it. Today we're talking about Immortals Fenyx Rising for the Nintendo Switch, and we're going to do a little review of that game. So I got the game for Christmas. It came out on December 3rd for the Nintendo Switch, but it was also a multi-platform release as well. So it's available on the PlayStation and the Xbox as well. But today we're talking about the game for the Nintendo Switch. So the game itself is created by Ubisoft, the creators of the Assassin's Creed series. So obviously they brought this game out with only a couple of weeks in between their latest release of Assassin's Creed and this game. Assassin's Creed obviously went to the top of the charts. This game has sold really well. Within the first week of the game releasing, we saw a massive price drop of nearly 50%. So it dropped from £50 to £30 within the first week, which I'm not sure why. Maybe they just felt Assassin's Creed was outperforming it and they wanted to give this game a bit of a chance because it is a new IP. You can obviously see here from the footage that this game is a third-person action RPG, and your character is fully customizable throughout the game. You do have the option to change how your character looks throughout the game as you're playing through. I just want to say that I have absolutely loved the game. So obviously it's a brand new IP from Ubisoft. So there's no pressure. When you create a new game like this, there's no pressure on the team behind it. Obviously, they have to sell the game, they have to make money, but you're not following up through a series. So you're not bringing out the latest Zelda or Mario or even the latest Assassin's Creed. It's a brand new game, so you can try different things out, things that maybe you wanted to put in a different game, where you felt, okay, let's try it in this game, see if it works, and then we can maybe add it to the latest Assassin's Creed later on. But this is why I think I'm having so much fun. It's an IP, a brand new IP. I've got no expectations. I'm just having a lot of fun playing through the game. One of the best things about the game is the combat. So you can see from this gameplay here, I'm going to take on some different types of combat. There's going to be some aerial combat and then some larger bosses, some smaller bosses. The combat is so fun. One of the best things about this game is there isn't breakable weapons, so you don't have to worry about trying to find new weapons. You can just upgrade your weapons, improve your weapons without the fear of them getting damaged. You've got the aerial fighting, which is really fun. There's a lot of aerial fighting. And the combat feels very, very quick. It's really fluid as well. Now, when you're playing this, and I know it's an action RPG, but it has such big elements of a hack and slash, and I think that's because of how fast the combat is. So you can see obviously from this footage it's quite quick to play. There's lots of dodging involved. You can see obviously you're having to try and fight different ways by throwing stuff at people. You've got to obviously do some double jumps to try and attack some of the flying bosses. But it really is a fantastic element of the game. The combat is so much fun. The thing I really do like about the combat is how your arrows recharge. So you don't have to worry about trying to find more arrows, or if you do get into a combat situation and you've run out of arrows, you can upgrade your satchels to get more arrows. So I've got 8 arrows at the minute, and you'll notice there through that gameplay, as I was firing the arrows, if I left it a few seconds, my arrow bar would recharge so I can get more arrows to take out bosses in different ways. That's something that I've really loved as well. So let's just have a little talk about the graphics. So if you've watched any of my other reviews, you'll know that cel shading, or you might know it as toon shading, is my favorite art style. And obviously this is another cel shaded game. And that's also something I'll talk about later on, is the comparison to Breath of the Wild because of the graphic style. It obviously looks great on the Switch because of that cel shading, and it's also a style of artwork that lasts for a long time. So it ages really, really well. So if you pick this game up in 5, even 10 years time, that art style is going to age really well, and it's still going to look really good later on down the line. So for me, I love cel shaded games, and that's why graphically I absolutely love how this game looks. Like I was saying before, you can customize your character throughout the game. So anytime you feel like you want to change how you look, you can obviously go back to sort of, I guess, what is your home base sort of thing. And once you head back there, if you head to the barber's chair, you can get in the barber's chair, and you can see obviously from the gameplay here, you're able to change how you look, add a beard, change your voice, you can change from a boy to a girl, you can add scars, tattoos, all things like that. So you get that option. If you get a little bit bored how you look, you can change your character throughout the game, which is a fun thing to do. Um, like you say, if you made a mistake when you're first customizing your character at the start, you don't have to worry and think, I've got to keep this throughout. You can just change it as you want to change it. So it's a fun aspect to the game. It didn't really improve the game for me or make the game worse. It's just another aspect of the game to talk about in this review. And finally, let's talk about that thing that everyone else is talking about, and that's the comparison to Breath of the Wild. So obviously you can see that due to the similar art style, there's going to be comparisons. But I think, and I know a lot of other people as well, once they've played the gameplay is very different. So once you've played, and I mean even for as little as half an hour, maybe even less than that, that any comparison you had other than the art style, I think is very, very different to Breath of the Wild. I don't really want to say any more of that because a lot of people are obviously using it, I feel, as clickbait to try and say, oh, this is just a Breath of the Wild clone. But try the game out, play the game, and you'll see that it's not a Breath of the Wild clone. It's a fantastic game in its own right. It just has a very similar art style to any other cel-shaded game out there, Pokemon, Ni no Kuni. There's so many on the Switch already. So that's the only mention I'll say, is that it has a similar art style to Breath of the Wild, and I think that's all we need to really say about that comparison. But thanks a lot for obviously watching the entire video. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Don't forget to obviously subscribe to the channel if you've liked any of the reviews, and don't forget to obviously give this video a like as well to really help my channel to grow. But thanks a lot for watching again,